Welcome, I'm Bill Wake. We're here working on a game called Betwist, and today we're going to focus on size-sensitive views, but I have a couple other ideas I want to kind of incorporate now and see if they come to fruition a little later and maybe affect the way we do these views. All right, so I was looking through kind of what our next steps were. We had talked about making cell size depend on the window size. The way it is now, if you have a grid of 4x4, it fits comfortably on this iPhone SE 3rd generation. If you have 5x5, it pushes it right to the edge, maybe a little over the edge. If it were 6x6, it wouldn't fit. We don't want to scroll it. We don't, I think the buttons should be a little smaller. I think they should be a natural size, honestly, but certainly they should fit in the scope of the screen they're in. Okay. And, I think that involves, we'll make a button of a certain size and we'll see kind of what happens with it. And if it's too big, I'm not sure what we'll do, but we'll see. Okay. And then the next thing that came to my mind, we mentioned a few other things: prefixes, scores, showing potential neighbors, generating the full list of words. But one I was looking forward at was, I had been thinking, what if we built a hexagonal grid instead of a square grid? All right. And, well, let's just find some grids. So hex grid, and get a picture here. Right. And what I noticed was I was assuming, oh, because it's got 6 neighbors, we'll get even more choices. But that's of course wrong. I mean, it has 6 neighbors, but the choices, whoops, because we take diagonal members in our choices, it's not just the 4, it's 4 sides, but it's 8 neighbors according to the notion of taking a diagonal neighbor. And so a hexagon is actually harder. I was looking for something that'd be maybe easier. And I thought, well, let's go the other way. Let's go to a triangle grid. And also I was thinking like, oh, it'd be nice to kind of put some color in this. And that's kind of where I started, like, oh, a little like light pastels or something on the cells we're not using would maybe make it a little more visually interesting and not so much, white popped out in your face kind of thing, and just more, soothing in a sense. And that's fine. We can paint these things colors, but it made me think of these other shapes. Okay, so let's look. Triangle grid. All right. Now, depending how you want to count things, it'd be nice if they had one with a spot in it, wouldn't it? Well, I don't see one. So if I imagine this triangle here, well, clearly it has 3 sides, but it also has these ones around the corner. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Forget where I started counting. But, what is that? 10 or 12 or something. It's a bunch. Okay. And, so I think that would give us more chances, for doing something. Okay, let me count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, yeah, I thought I got 12 before. Oh, here's some nice colored ones. I think that has a nice look to it. Nothing too dark. The lines, I could go a little lighter. But anyway, with the triangles, you'd have 12 opportunities for a follow-on letter. Now, that doesn't make much sense at a 16, a 4x4 board. It's a little more reasonable to 5x5, and even makes more sense in a 6x6 or larger board. And so I thought, oh, that's cool. But then I thought, hey, wait, there's other patterns. Let me do tessellations, which is a nice word for them. Okay, tessellations are shapes that cover the plane. Okay, so no overlaps, no gaps. Yeah, that's good. Good definition. All right, and the M.C. Escher stuff is very famous, the lizards and fish and birds and so on. But like this one's nice. This is, well, I know they use it for a quilt pattern. They also use this for a quilt pattern. Grandmother's Garden, I think it's called. I forget what this one's called, like tumbling blocks or alphabet blocks or something. But again, you have 3 different shapes that kind of in bulk look like a cube, a bunch of cubes sitting there. And so the red one has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, well, 7, 8, 9, 10, if I counted right. 10 neighbors instead of 12. It's like, oh, that's kind of an attractive one. And then it's like, well, maybe some of these others, and I'm looking, there's one that's like squares and pentagons or something. This one's pretty straightforward, triangles and octagons. And then the letters would each have different, or different cells might have different number of neighbors. That's kind of cool. And, oh, I don't know what I had seen. I know there's a nice tessellation that's like squares between these things. Well, that one's kind of nice. But it gets a little tricky because we've built things around locations and directions, and this kind of moves more towards more of a network view of things, you know, a graph almost of point to point to point to point. What are your neighbors kind of thing. That's a nice one. I think that's Roman times. Why am I not seeing it now? Well, this one's doable. It's got pentagons and diamonds. Okay. And this one almost has, you know, it's got a symmetry to it. It has sort of rows. You'd have to figure out how to count these ones that cut across 2 rows. And, you know, all that. So I don't know how far to go. I don't know what all happens if I change it. Oh, this is maybe the one I was thinking of. Squares between octagons. Okay. There are also aperiodic ones. Okay. And so aperiodic, I don't know, it's like, I'm not sure I see how to put a coordinate system on some of these. You know, that's pretty complicated. Even this gridded one. Well, that one's okay. But notice it's different. Like you have these lines sometimes and not others. Sometimes you get spirals and shifts. Some you get that they look like they have a pattern, but they don't really quite, a repeating pattern, but they don't really quite. So I think aperiodic, it's like if you can't take a block and then like translate it and find that block near it or something. It's got to be visually clear, yeah. But I think a number of these are. I don't think I have to support every tessellation. Okay. Oh yeah, this one's nice. I mean, it's kind of eye-popping in these colors, but it's sort of shifted, so you get this sort of spiral effect, and so it's never quite the same because it's always a bigger spiral. And you can do others. That looks like Escher, but I don't know if it really is. It might be somebody's imitation. But in these, if they're aperiodic, I'm really not sure what the coordinate system is for some of these, if there is one. And, you know, I don't know, but I thought it opens up some possibilities. You've got shapes with different number of neighbors, and you've got some visually very interesting stuff. You know, I think the blocks, and I don't think I can do these ones with the little twiddly shapes in them where there's no room for a letter or something, but you know, these tiling ones or something, you know, there's definitely some possibilities. And I guess we have to be able to draw something, and we have to be able to talk about neighbors. And if we can do those 2 things, I think the basic structure we have is right. But what this does to me, well, it brings back our early discussions about how are we representing the repetition of a grid that's wrapped around something. And for us, we currently have this animation, kind of weird. Well, I don't know. That's pretty reasonable for what it did. Same thing top and down. Okay, but I'm almost thinking it would be better to not make it, to make it more seem like scrolling, and so make it look like J, N, and K was there the whole time, not that it moved from there. And if I had that, then the grid size and the visible part don't really have to be tied together like they are in this screen. And so I'm definitely open to doing something like that. I don't know what it will be, but I think if we can move in that direction and then do something, then experiment with some other grid shapes, whether tessellations. Yeah, I guess tessellations. I want them to cover the plane. You know, they gotta match up. Now you could take out the separators. I don't know if that gets a little visually crowded. You know, no gray bars, and the gray padding. I don't know if you stare at it funny. Well, if you stare at someplace like the middle of the word TRUE here, it's okay. But you maybe notice out of the corner of your eyes, it looks like there's little black dots in the intersections. Never where you're looking, but always a little further away. So it's got a bit of a, I'm not sure the word to use, but it's kind of visually active on its own. Christopher Alexander talks about even a piece of paper with a dot on it being alive in some sense. And I think this intersections like that create that effect of things happening outside your main sense of vision. Okay, so what I propose to do first is I think we'll lock in a size on these cells. Yeah, like gray dots or dark. They're darker than this, I think. I don't know. I think I see it's like a light gray circle with a dot in it or something. I don't know, but I see something. And it's never when you look exactly what it is to see what's going on, it moves. You know, it's something out of the, I don't know if it's like out of colors, you know, color rods versus cones, color cells versus non, or you know, some other interaction of something in your visual system. But all right, so I think my recollection is like 44 by 44 is the minimum size recommended for a button so you can touch it. Another issue we had was if I click on the letter, all is good. If I click on the background, it ignores it. I don't know what happens if I click in the middle. Okay, maybe it puts a bounding box on it or something, but I find it annoying. Yeah, it's definitely a known illusion. There's all kinds of cool visual illusions if you're ever needing to avoid work for a couple hours and check out, you know, YouTube or Wikipedia or something. All right. And also, I don't know, I'm still not happy with my letters. I think they're not as good of a set of letters as I would expect. I mean, 2 J's and a Z is pretty bad. My vowels are 3 U's and 3 E's. You know, it's kind of like, I don't know. We'll just have to see. Maybe it's just the fact that it's 25 letters and you've got a good chance of hitting something there. But 3 U's strikes me as a little high. I guess we have the vowels are all in the top 10, so that's something. Then the scrolling, you know, I think if we're going to do the tessellation stuff, we don't need to be restricted to the 4 cardinal directions. I should be able to drag kind of diagonally and have it drag diagonally. And I still, if I'm bounding the box, I still pretend to have a repetition of my cells. Let's go back way early on. We were discussing this stuff. You know, a grid that looks like this, it's really ASCDE, ASCDE on all directions or all sides, you know, and so if all you can see is this much and you scroll over here, it looks like the neighbor. I don't know what the issue is with the buttons. Buttons contain the padding and border, or is it applied outside the button? I would think the border would be outside. Yeah, I don't know. It seems odd. But yeah, so let me, all right, so figure out why touching space around, wow, letter doesn't trigger. Okay. Do a fixed cell size. Man, if I can't type this today, it's going to be rough. Change the scrolling. Cell size depend on the window size. That's not exactly what I want. And if I were locking in on the thing and twisting like we are, that would probably make sense. If I had 6x6, I would shrink everything and I'd have to query the geometry reader to find out what size to use. But if my buttons are just all the same size, I don't think that should matter. And I think what I need to do, even with tessellation, is just make sure everybody's big enough for a good sized letter, and that should help. Maybe colors, and I don't know what else we talked about, but I think that would be, well, maybe a question. Do we need directions? It doesn't seem like we do to me. You know, it seems like we've got this core concept of what's the central location, you know, versus the scrolling. And I don't know. We'll see if we can make that go away. I think generalize it. That's a nice way to say it. Okay. Touching space around the letter. So let's close all this and get down to content view, which is kind of our top level view. Well, which is our top level view. Okay. Now our buttons, where's that grid? Okay. Yeah, maybe it's time to do some, I don't know what, extracting. Okay, we do a button, we put, that is the letter in it, and we give it a size, 30 by 30. Yeah, I don't know. I would have thought the button would be the whole thing. Let's see if they tell us. The labels of view describes the button action. It seems like it shouldn't matter. Well, the other thing I could do is, well, another thing I could do would be layer. I could turn these into colors. If you use your fingers to play the game, you're not going to miss the letter on the button. Probably not. Yeah, that's true. I haven't put it on an actual phone or iPad yet. And maybe button is not the right thing directly, or maybe it's a shape that we're drawing on, which could be a square or a hexagon or an octagon or a whatever, and then it's overlaid with a button or something. Text on the button, I don't know. Maybe just text, but the whole thing acts like a button. Well, let's try search. Swift UI, touching button, outside label. Outside its frame. No, that's definitely not the problem we're having. How to change the tappable area. Oh, in Swift UI, a button's tappable area is confined to the size of the content it displays. Okay, if you apply the padding to the text. Okay, well, that's doable. So the flip around is we make the action here, and no, that's not right. Okay, we're gonna have to, let me search for this way. Title key. No, there was an action one. With a role. Okay, we're not doing that. Yeah, action and label. Action. Well, that's not quite it. Label is... I'm not sure what label boils down to. Action, label. Well, I guess our labels are always text. Can use tab instead of that. All right. Let's try and flip this. So this is the action, and then label colon text camera. Now I must be misremembering the button size. Okay, well, 25. Let's take this off and see what that looks like. And yeah, to answer, yes, we can certainly use a tab gesture. We just had to put an accessibility thing on it, really, to keep it the system understanding what it is. Okay, well, that's bigger. Let's put this back. I'm going to try the previews again. Sometimes we get those going. It seems less flaky than it used to. I don't know. Well, that's fast enough. But for iterating across this stuff, I think it's what we'd like. Oh, text needs a color? I thought it defaulted to that. Now maybe this form doesn't displays a custom label. That seems okay. All right. Yeah, all our selection is in this action. That seems a little well, this whole thing of row and column, right? I think that's going to go away in the longer run, but we'll get there step by step. Okay, that's just taking a while. And maybe the padding, maybe that's too much padding too. Because that's in addition to what the actual text is. And I think I need to say that. Okay, well, so much for that theory. Why are you not doing it? Maybe I have to be an actual label? Okay, maybe I have to be a label. Do I have to have both? Title, icon. Is he complaining? Yes, he is. I got that back to right. Label style, title only. Label, name, comma, system image, colon. Label, that's my name, comma, system image, colon. Is that too many? Yes. It's a text or label, title. Huh. Well, something's not right. It's the row column outside the namespace. Not sure what's going on. Whoa. Okay. Too much padding. Now, I don't know why I only have two. Oh, the test data only has two. Okay. So who's adding this padding? And this is the button. It's the label. Oh, maybe modifier, grid button style. We may have done it in there. Right. Okay, so that overrides some of that. Border color, that's fine. Background color, that's going to have to be different. Okay. Okay, so we set foreground background color in there based on this. Got a bug in here. Okay, so this is not adding anything, but it's revealing. I don't know why the padding. Okay. Well, that's progress. Let me change it back to text. I don't think label style title only makes sense for that. Foreground style doesn't matter. Padding 4T. No. So it must be taking... um... 14 is too much. Eight is trimming it. I don't know. I think maybe the frame, it has its natural size, right? Whatever the letter size is. And then we're saying pad around it, but don't let things get bigger than 30. And I think it's taking the padding as the required stuff, and leaving no room for the letters. Now, what if I click? Oh, but it is working. Okay. And click way down here. Nothing. Oh, so it's like there's interior padding. Well, I don't know the name for that. I mean, that's certainly big for my finger in the simulator, but I don't know what the real size. Is this actual size? Okay, so clicking down here, nothing, 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 no, just get something. Well, that's better. Okay. Let me run. Because I notice all the time when I'm trying to click words, you know, for demo and testing purposes, it's like I bump away. Especially like I, a very skinny letter, has no padding. All right. Well, I'm going to click way away, work my way towards it. Yeah, that's probably, as you say, with real fingers, that's probably enough to do it. Something's, yeah, that's trimmed off. I don't think that's quite, it's helping, but it's not acceptable. What if I put a width on this? Frame width 24, height 24. Do we dare go back to the preview? Okay, so I'm trying to stretch out the letter before it gets to the button. Okay. Content shape rectangle. Is that on the text? It's, yeah. It's not on here. It's in there. Oh. Well, let me frame that one too. Content shape rectangle using an H-stack wrapping the text. So okay, so H-stack. No, that's not. Set the frame on the text instead of the button. Oh, so take this one out and only set it on the text. I'm going to try setting the background here if we can. Background style. Background. Okay, so let's try putting this outside as well. Content shape rectangle. Well, that's instead of putting the height on the button. Welcome, Catmo Dev. Yeah, because we in real life we get eyes and they have almost no range outside them. I mean, and well, Y S pretty good, but I like. You know, I have to get very close. Why? I can't believe this is this hard. It just seems like an odd default to not let me click anywhere I want on the button, and then to be so difficult to get it otherwise. Okay, but, well, now, this seems to not, well, that was the first one that seemed to work. Where's the box coming from? I mean, I just have a button and it's putting that in. We define the, well, I shouldn't say that. Let's make sure we don't change sizes in here. Sorry. Okay. So I probably did it to myself. So padding is on the button, whereas it was in the inside. No. Yeah, it was inside the border. Okay, let's see if this will help. Maybe we can get rid of some of this other. Okay. So frame 32, let's make this 48. Okay, and then I can take off this. It should go back to the normal one, and if I select, all right, yeah, that's it. Okay, now do I need this if I've got that? So content shape is gone. Yeah, that does it. Okay, good. We'll get there. Now, if I move this onto the other one, what's that do? Oh, well, that's promising. Let's run that. Yeah, thank you. A little bit of a weird path to get there, but that helps. The other one I was thinking, well, all these ideas. It gets hard to tell sometimes where you started clicking. You know, you can tell because the first letter has got to be one of the few first letter ones. All right, now I have more padding between them relatively, but we're going to look at getting rid of that. Nets. Pone. I mean, I see these easy ones. Okay, so I was thinking of putting a light gray border around the starter cell, if it's not the only cell. Now I think this is still plenty big enough to touch, and maybe I need to get it over to a phone and make sure. I'm not sure. Actually, my phone might not run this version. Okay, my pad will. Tablet. Okay. Well, I think that's progress. So we've made make the whole button sensitive to touch, not just the letter only. Okay, that's a good one. $48 should be enough. Okay. Did we leave it there? Okay. Now, border. Yeah. So, what I'm thinking is first, yeah, let's, I'm doing this with the view, but what I want to do is, give the first cell a gray border. And I don't actually mind if it's red when it's the first one or if it's gray. 44 by 44. Yeah, I was trying to find those guidelines. I couldn't. I remembered the numbers, but not where I found them. Okay, give the first cell a gray border. Yeah, we can do that. In here, the border color, we just default the middle. So case first, let's just do return dot gray. We'll see if we like the gray. Okay. And also, I think with this, if I did 6, right, we've got plenty of room for one more letter, so that's okay. Click. Okay, it's got red. Yeah, there it's gray. Okay, that gray's a little light, or low contrast, I should say. I don't know if it'll suggest something good. I may have to make my own. Brown, indigo, indigo. Maybe that's too much of a blue. All I know is indigo bunting. That's, yeah, too purpley. Okay, yeah, let's try green. I think a very light gray might do it too. try grayscale color. Oh no, that's different. White with opacity. Yeah, that might work. Oh, really? Whoops. Oh, I gotta stay white. Or maybe I want it the other way, don't I? Yeah. Yeah, I think that'll work. Yeah, I think I'll go with that for now. I think that's enough playing for the small feature. All right, fixed cell size. We've done that. Change the scrolling. Colors. Okay, this one I think is going away because we're just giving a flat cell size regardless of size, window size. Colors. So colors. I guess what I was thinking was these letters would get a pale color of some sort, and if you rotated it, it would retain its colors. I mean, the color is, it's probably a good time. Yeah, the color of the cell should be permanent, and so wrapping it. That's kind of where I started actually thinking. When you move this thing, you get some visual effect, but I think it would look more persistent if L was a light pink and R was a light blue, and as it slid across and into place, you saw it that way. Okay, but that led me to thinking like, should it really just be scrolled and the rest of that about tessellations? Yeah, should we move things into assets? Yeah, you're right, we really should. Okay, so foreground color. Well, that's going to change. Maybe this one is not, but we're changing this default to be something more a function of location or something. But okay, so this is kind of like cell foreground or open foreground cell, open foreground, default foreground. All right, let's do, this is the selected. Oh, that's the open foreground color. That one's probably okay. All right. So I guess cell foreground open. Maybe that's the order to say it. Let's get the assets up here. I'm very bad about doing that. I remember sometimes and it just kind of slips out. Put that in resources. Okay, so, and I don't think we're going to worry about background and foreground. So I'm going to add some colors. So this is cell foreground open. And we think that's white. Sorry. Cell foreground open is black. Oh, I wanted this. Let's move this over here. And then do this. Okay. It's black. Serious. And okay, I think that's what I want. All right, cell foreground open. Default. Open is black. That's correct. Default. Well, this is almost like selected. And that should be white. Okay, now cell background. Well, what's 80% of FF? Does that look about right? Maybe 9s. You get validation that you'll get a warning or an error if it, actually, I think they changed things so that it will validate that. We'll try it and see what we get. Cell foreground. Oh, jeez. We help if I look at the right thing. Okay. Open. And this is selected. Yeah, let's see if that's true. Well, I should have built instead of run. Let's see what happens when it runs then. I think you get a runtime warning, but I may be wrong. And that was open background. Yeah. No warning. Oh no, there it is. Okay, so runtime warning. I had thought they'd put something in the compiler to deal with that. No. Okay. Yeah, it is annoying. Whoops. Can I duplicate these? Okay. I don't think that made things better for me. Last. And the default is black. Okay, that one's right. Last needs to be red. I thought I had a way to... Is it system red color? That's... We'll try it. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. But it's on color, right? Oh, it is. Okay. I missed it before. Cell background open. First. Cell background first. Background selected. Does that seem right? Cell background. First. I think that's supposed to be open, isn't it? Cell background open selected. Okay. Maybe I should make those lowercase just to match up if it's going to default them that way. Now that should type check it. Thank you. Missed a couple. Yeah, we're doing Swift. I'm just running on the simulator, but that's a new feature they added. You used to say color, and you had to put the quotes, and then you'd validate it against the list. And now they make this an automatic enum, enum-like thing anyway, that lets you specify it there. And so if I mistype this, I'll get a compiler warning on it. Okay, but with the way this is, it picks them up from the enum value. Okay, so let's commit this. So add letter grid colors to the asset catalog. What's your usual language, Catmo? Hey. Stage and commit. All right. Oh, okay. I've never been super successful with JavaScript. I muddled through, but never got great at it. Okay. Now, change the scrolling and colors. Do we need... Colors might be easier. Okay. For me, it was like every time I try and learn it, I'd do a little bit of learning and I'd get on other projects for 6 or 8 months and I'd come back and like every framework was different and all that. It just drove me nuts. But now I do Swift and it's I only change it once a year. Okay. Well, I don't know the right place to put these colors, especially if we're getting rid of locations. I think what I can do, maybe the color is a function of the cell. Oh, there you go. Well, I enjoy Swift a lot. I mean, it's somewhat, they're trying to make it more places. So I know they've done server-side Swift and some other stuff, and I think you can run it on PCs now, and maybe something on Android. I'm not quite sure, but it's mostly an Apple domain thing. It's a moderately big language, I would say, but not unbearable. And it what I like with this is, we get some decent looking stuff, not painful. Okay, well, whatever you're learning, it's not your last language, that's for sure. I don't know. Counted out how many I've used seriously or used a little bit, and it's certainly more than 10, probably more than 20. I don't think it's 50. Okay, so, well, I know there's a way to do a random color, but I don't know if you can get a random light color. So my thought is, if our cell, let's see, let's get this. So is it the grid? I guess letter grid? Yeah, so each element of our grid is a string right now. But I could imagine making that a more complicated object, or putting it on the letter grid. And making the letter grid just have a function almost like a color subscript. Yeah, I just don't know. I also don't mind if it's a location thing, but I'm trying to move away from locations. Let me look for this random color thing. I think they added like .random to it or something. You can certainly do a random number. Yeah, that's all random. Yeah, there it is. Random. And you can do random by pieces. My problem is I'd like to get a light color. Randomize only the hue. Okay, that might be the way to do it. That's UI color. their UI color. Let's I know they keep changing it. I think there might be. Oh, there it is. Make this function a random color. No, they did the same thing. Oh. Okay. So, let's look at Swift color. Probably get light color if the bottom is white. Okay, tint. Creating a color. I got hue, saturation, brightness. So there, if I take hue random, but the saturation is set, right? That's going to make it, that'll keep it light. That chooses the light, doesn't it? I always mix these things up. Hue, saturation, value. Okay. I know what hue is. Oh, brightness. Hue, saturation, and brightness. Okay, so let's try that. Color. And random gives me 0 to 1, and I think that's what I want for hue anyway. Okay, so I want somewhere I can just play with it a little bit. Let's go in content view, and we'll treat this just as a little bit of a spike here. I got a stack, and let's do color. Hue is random. Saturation 1.0, brightness 1.0. Okay, and preview, no. Can I convert value of type int to expected type? Yes. Well, no. How about double dot random? I'll give this a frame. So I'm just generating a bunch of random colors. That's looking a little dark. Now I think if I just add space, I can get a different set. Let's do saturation 0.5. Yeah, I don't. Okay, I think, yeah, that might be doing it. And any change I make redraws it, so we get a different set. I mean, those are all looking pretty, pastel-y. Maybe I should be a little like 2.5. Okay, yeah, that's. Okay, that's plausible to me. Okay, so, but I don't want random. Because I only want to assign these colors once. That's the tricky part. And I can do it. Well, I was going to say I could do it in the grid by with a method to give you the thing based on row and column. Yeah. I mean, we don't need a lot of values. Like we know it's 25 or 36 if we do 6 by 6. If I did infinite, then we would have a more challenging problem because there's no corresponding position there. The trick is when I'm drawing this, right, I want to attach the color to the background of this button. And that's done in this, but he doesn't have access to the grid, or well, he's got the game. He's got a location. He does have a location. Okay, I could push that into here. Yeah, I'm not. All right, let's at least pull our color in over here. Delete this stuff. It was kind of our spike. Grid button style. All right, now this one, the foreground color, the background color is what I want to change. And instead of cell background open, I want to be this other color. Okay, let's make an extension here. Okay, so, well, if I return, let's return color.random pastel, this will not be consistent across the area. Instance member. I guess make him static. So I think I'll get colors, but as I rotate, I'll get different colors, which destroys some of the effect I want, but we'll start there. Oh, I should use it on background, not foreground. Open is the one that gets it, so color.random. And then if I drag T, Yeah, they're switching, aren't they? Yep. Okay, those colors are acceptable to me. I mean, as far as looking different. I mean, more variety wouldn't hurt, but some of this is probably about our visual system. Green and yellow seem a little less. I don't know. I think even more pale might be nice. Maybe that's the brightness. Let's knock that down a bit. No. Well, that's a little brighter. I think that's still fine. That purple's kind of the darkest. Yeah, these colors, they're even shifting on all the scales. Okay, less saturation. All right. Try it with 15 and see. Oh yeah, that's more like I had in mind. Maybe a slightly bigger cell might even look better. But yeah, okay, that's a good starting point. All right, now what I want to do is I would like the location, at least for now, I'd like the location to control the color. And so I don't want it random. I want to give it a value that's a function of the location. And then that function shouldn't be symmetric, like diagonally or anything. So I can't just like add up X and Y, a row and column. I need to do some function of it. Now we don't know here how big it is. Yeah, if I knew the size. I'm not saying we can't know the size, but we don't know the size. Well, we do, right? Do we have the game? Yeah, we have the game. Okay, we can get the size. Yeah, now, do I have to generate them up front? I could. All right. So I think I'm going to say this is the game owns those colors. Is that going to make sense? And if you want to know what color, you would ask game dot color for some location. Okay, so if I give you a location, I should get the same color every time. And the two colors should not be equal at two different locations. Okay. Let's go test this. I've got a couple minutes. So the question is, at some level, the question is like, should game know colors? And I don't think I think it's a handy place for them. I don't know if it's the ideal place for them. Like, really, I'd love to just say, here's a location, what's the color? But I think we're going to ask the game that question. And the color... The color is more decorative in effect than functional. We're not conveying any information you need other than what's there. Okay, so let's see. Do we have tests for game? I think we do. Yeah. All right. So let's put in a test. Okay. Color for different, well, color for same location is the same. All right, so we'll make a game and we'll, oh yeah, funk. We expect game dot color for location 10 equals game dot color of location 10. Now, are you going to complain? Okay. Is this color or it's background? Yeah, I think so. Game will know that. I mean, divide that by the maximum, the size squared, or, yeah, for us. Okay, so background color doesn't exist, and let's put it on game. Okay, so what's something for location-based type? Where's that subscript? Select location. Okay, and type at location. This is kind of like type. Function background color. Maybe at is a good word there. At location returns color. Color is not defined. I don't want Swift UI. Maybe it's not a color. Maybe it's... I mean, if it's a random number, what would be a name for that? Hue. Yeah, let's try that. Okay. That should fail. Oh, especially if I don't name it right. Okay, we expect this to fail. It should be hue, shouldn't it? Oh, I ran the wrong thing. Okay. Oh, no, I didn't. Okay, there, failed. All right, and now this one should pass. Yeah, it could succeed once in a blue moon, but we're putting something deterministic in, so I'm not going to worry too much. Okay, so yeah, that one fails. This one passes because it generates a random number all the time, but let's return location. So that's, well, is this a function of location? Yeah, I think we can do what you suggested. Location dot row times size, right? Size plus location dot column. Nice guess. Oops, small location. All right, let's take a break and we'll come back in and integrate that into grid button style. And I think we'll have it then. All right, see you in a few minutes, 3 or 4. Welcome back. All right, so I don't think we actually need this little guy other than the fact that I want to borrow this. But now background is based on this color. Could have done that more smoothly, but it's color of and we want game.hue at location. Okay, that's a reasonable-ish solution, other than not working. Expected hue in call. Okay. Still not happy. Insert, comma. No. Does that mean I have one too many? Yeah. All right. Let's run that. Oh, something's wrong. Okay. They're persistent. I'll give you that. K is always orange, right? Or whatever, pale orange. Okay, the colors are persistent, but they are very coordinated looking. Or what's the word? Correlated, I guess. Right, because these pinks to purples to blues to greens to yellows to orange to red. Multiply and use modulus. Well, I think we really need to do is I almost think the two things, see, the problem is they're correlated, right? So 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, they're going to all tend to be in the same, they're in the same row and they've got sort of the same range of color things. I think we actually have to make two independent values to make that legit. Let's go back to game. Okay, so they're always going to kind of be in the same position in the color square. If I put it in a color square. Can I get a seed off of this? Double dot random in range. How do I get a seed for a random number? I might have to use the old n.random. I don't think he said anything about seed here. No. Yeah, that's sort of the old ones. Oh. I think we could do that. If we set the seed for each of those two values independently. Or no, we set the seed based on that. I think that's it, right? So sorry. Well, this is too hard. I almost am going back to your creating an array. If we had an array of randomly generated numbers corresponding to this row plus whatever times size, those are all independent numbers again. So let's do that with it. Double, and then in here hues equals, well, Um, map. No. Max puzzle size. We'll let that be a value. Okay, and this needs to be squared. Well, maybe. Yeah. Okay, let's try that. Okay, so we'll fill up a grid of random numbers, and then we'll return hues at this. Okay, now there's no correlation between those random numbers. Funny, I mean, there's kind of like no way to express that in our test very well. Numbers shouldn't be too close together. That looks more random. Okay. F is blue, stays blue. S stayed blue. R stays pink. Okay. And then select. Okay. Cool. Persistent colors to cell backgrounds. Okay. Now, I've been putting off the scrolling. Do we need directions? Okay, so, well, one thing, I could probably get rid of that inner cell spacing. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing at this point. Let's try that. That's easily done, I think. Is it on here? Border? Border color. No, what makes this spread out? That we don't need. Okay, that must not be a function of this. That must be a function of content view, I think. We're putting these in here. Do we have padding in here or something? No. I guess I could put spacers in each row. I'm sorry, I'm putting them on the ends of the rows to try and jam them together horizontally. And then vertically, I don't know. No, it didn't work. Okay, H stack for each. Put the buttons in a row. Okay. I think we can specify that on the H stack. Yeah, spacing. Maybe spacing 0? And let's try going back to the preview, since I think it's faster when it works. Doesn't always work. Directions, arrows between the selected boxes. Yeah, I'm trying to get rid of the space between these cells. I want them to abut each other. I might. They may look a little too dark doing that. Okay, yeah. So the border, I think I'll make that one smaller. It'll be a little more subtle. And then I'll wrap this in a V stack. Okay. Yeah. Okay. How that'll look. It may look a little crowded. No, it's not bad. Okay, what do we got? I just feel like there should be more words in this board. Defining? Really? Nice. It's not the board, it's the typist here. Now, that black background is a little off. Right, between all these, I almost want a white background. Maybe a different white. Oh my, nice. Oh, oops, I misspelled it. E D E F I N G. Nice. Oh, do I have? Okay. That doesn't solve the problems, but feels good to find those long words. All right. That should be lots of points. Okay. So I guess I think I'm going to change my selected border color to white. And I don't know, maybe one is not enough. It doesn't look very much on that red. No. Okay. Let's go in here. Border color for first is first, for last is red. Okay. It's middle that I don't like. And then this color, let's make it a dark gray. Too dark. Yeah. I think a little more. Let's try 9s. I almost want to swap these two, but maybe that's okay. Magenta? No. Okay, they are persistent. That part's good. I mean, as far as the rotation, like, this is kind of where we are, and I'm good with that. But okay, we tweaked some cell colors. I forgot to stage them. Okay, so now what I really want in a way would be to like scroll this as you're dragging. And we kind of saw that somewhat. Unfortunately, it goes one way on the front and one way on the back. So up is above and I don't know. I'm going to get rid of it, so I'm not going to worry about it. What I'd like to happen is as you drag, I would like it to be scrolling while it's dragging, and when you let go, that's where you leave it. I find all these negative words, I don't know, I don't seem to find positive ones as often. I guess some is neutral. Yeah, so I wanted an example where drag, if it's more than half a cell, like if I drag to there, that should drag to there. So I guess I got to drag more than half a cell's worth to say it's a drag. You know, math. We'll take that as a positive. So drag and then drag release. We looked at this. I may need the reader yet to understand where things are. And it's probably more than we can do in a half hour here. But all right, let's do that. Dragging, is that on content view? Right. Okay. I think this maybe unchanged, unended, offset equals. Now, I don't know when the drawing is. Have a hole that shows the board, keep extra rows. I don't know. I think it's going to look more like a window of this. I don't know if I can drag. You know, what about this? You know, I think you're going to see, if this is your live part, I think you're going to tend to see some stuff around it, but they'll all be, yeah, you might see the same column twice in a small board and not all the columns in a big board. Okay, but so this unchanged, it looks like it must do the translation here. Okay, so unchanged. Let's just see. We looked at this a little bit before, but yeah. I mean, I want them to move while you drag, and I want them to move in the direction you're dragging. And I think that's going to be a function of the board size, the physical geometry reader board size, and your drag distance relative to anything. So I just dragged about 20s. Did that not trigger it? Okay, that's on the grid. What's that? Color for same location is the same. Oh, I don't. I thought I ran the app, not the tests. Okay. So this, well, I would expect when I dragged more than 50 pixels that drag info would print, and then when I let go, it should twist. Okay, yeah, there we go. Lots of stuff. Okay. So I get a location. Velocity I'm not going to worry about, although you could get more of a flick kind of effect if you do. Let's see if I can get one entry. Okay. I get a timestamp and a location and a start location. That feels like enough. If I know, well, I have to know my size somehow, right? I mean, I know I'm 48 pixels away horizontally. I'm trying to figure out if I need the angle to do the computations or not. I mean, I should be able to know vertically and horizontally how far have you moved. Okay, so I went from 33.5 to 97. Is that right? 33.5 to 174. Okay, so that's, if I subtract, that's about 140, and if I divide by 48, that's about 3.5. So I sort of moved 3.5 squares. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's about what I did. Okay. And my x coordinate was, oh, well, I just changed everything, didn't I? There's my 27.5. My y coordinate was 25, and it changed to 25? No, 25 to 27.5. So I was very horizontally. Okay. Yeah, there is a snap. I mean, I think we well, the way it is now, we enforce the snap because we only let you shift one at a time. All right, so even if I go that far, it moves one column. If I go that far, well, that far, it's one column, you know. But what I would like to do is, if I would like it to drag at the same rate. Drag this, and it drags 1 and 2, and in a way, I don't want it to be the same. I don't want it to be snapped, because I should be able to make a visible area that's bigger than one grid's worth of stuff. Now, I don't care. Yeah, so I would say as you're dragging, if I drag this so the E's coming around and I pick up a new E, I might see two E's selected at the same time, and that's completely legit. You know, that if I had enough space to show two boards worth, I would see two selections and so on. Okay, so I think that's I don't think that's so much of a worry for me. It'll it'll make it more apparent that there's more grid and that you could, I think when it's like this, nothing tells you like, hey, try and move the grid, you know. But if there were more grid showing partial rows and stuff, I think you would try and move the grid. And I think that's a good thing. And hopefully, yeah, well, we need, yeah, right. I don't think we'll need that many, because I think we can set the location, whatever this location is, we can compute it based on our modulo stuff. And so we kind of should only need one, but conceptually there's 9. Yeah. All right. So what can we do? I guess if I modified, I think a step would be on drag should move the grid, whatever the difference is, divided by 48 or 50 at this point for us, because we got 54. I don't know. Something like that. Let's see. With the grid button, our cells were 48. I think we've just put on a 2. Oh. I think that might be redundant. I've got a 50 border right now, 50 with the border. Okay, so I think if we took the start location, sorry, the current location minus the start location and divided by 50 and added it to the something, that would look okay. Let's try something on that lines. And I'm thinking of this as being experimental at this point, I should say. All right, so if we take drag info dot location dot x minus drag info dot location dot start location dot x, now x goes this way across the screen, so we're going to print move horizontally into that by 50. I think that'll round it and then quote that. Now y goes opposite the normal mathematical convention. Just to be different. Okay, so I don't think I need the drag info anymore. And actually, I'm going to put this on the same board or same window as Xcode. Okay, so I'm going to drag one cell worth. Not getting anything. I don't know what that means. Okay, move horizontally. I tried to move horizontally 0. Okay, that seems right. Move horizontally 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. That's 2, 3. Okay, so I moved 3. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, we need to get the modulus involved. And then let's do a vertical one. I'm moving up 3. which lists as minus whatever. Now I don't know why that's not. My calculation must be funny. Okay, so here I should have kicked on dragging by now. And that's 1, 2, 3. Okay, I guess that's kind of close. Now it went -3, so it went up, I guess. I don't know if we'll have to flip that line at some point. Right, and then in the end, we only move 1 row with the way we are now. But I would like to move it now, and then when I release it, it's up here. And I'd like to be able to, I'm going to move 1, 2, 3. Well, it says 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. It says 3. Okay. But notice it's doing both directions. So I think that's good. Why it seems off by 1, I'm not sure. Maybe I do need, maybe I should print some more. Let's print yeah, that's exactly what I want. It should follow it, and instead, we're doing the stuff on the change, and then on ended, we're just twisting once. But I would like it to move as far as you said. You know, you move your finger, it should feel like you're moving the whole world. Okay, let's run this. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, yeah, it's kind of a function of where I'm doing it. Okay, so if I start at this corner of the cell, I'm not moving as much. I'm not moving 1 really till I get all the way down here. Okay, so I think my sensitivity is probably too high at 50. I think we said minimum 50. Yeah, let's try this. And that says half a cell now for us. So I think that's going to feel better. It should be the same answers, but it should trigger at the beginning wherever you click. Well, no, maybe not. And maybe even 25. So I'm making it hard. I'm clicking in this corner of the cell 1, and it doesn't drag until, oh, it doesn't tell me until it's finished dragging. And I don't know if that's more of a function of the runtime. Did I get to 4? Yeah, because I started in that corner, but if I start in this corner and go all the way down here, I bet I get 4. Yeah. So we'll have to do some tweaking on that. But I think that's good. Well, can I incorporate this now? Good. Okay, we twist. Well, I was wanting to get rid of direction, so here's my excuse to. Okay, so let's see twist. Direction gives you this complicated thing, and in the end, you get these things back, and then this translates them to plus or minus ones. We don't move until drag ended. Yeah, I should move on change. Yep. Drag ended should be nothing. If it works live, so far we haven't seen it. And I kind of want to deduplicate, or what's debounce. You know, like if these two are the same, then I don't want to do any shuffling around. We can do that inside, but what could I do to do this? Well, it's kind of setting up a temporary offset. We don't move till dragging. Yeah. Okay, so when I actually start dragging and I drag, I would like to see B go here, then here, then here. But if I let go, okay, yeah, the problem I have is if let's say I go from here to here to here, and I'm at, horizontally 1 and vertically 2, say, and I go here, I'm at horizontal 1, vertical 3. I want to go up by 1, not up by 2 or 3. It'll feel really weird if it goes up by that. So it's like I want to register a temporary change. Well, that may be this nice ponder, right? Because if I move by each one of these that it sees, horizontal 3, vertical 3, every time there's an on change, then I might even move 3 cells even in the same thing. There's got to be some notion. Yeah, I think there's got to be some notion of what's the current offset, and or I don't know, maybe we're moving by some offset. Yeah, no, I think this comes back to that debouncing thing, that as I do it, and maybe this is the only way it moves, so there's not 2 ways to do it, but as I move from 1 1, and there's a 0 1, well, I'm afraid I won't, because if I'm dragging from one corner of a cell to another, like, that should be 0. I don't know what we get for that. Okay, well, that was weird. Okay, from here to here should be 0. I can't tell if he's... I can't add to it either. Okay, let me delete it. Here to here should be 0. I don't think he detected the drag. I'm losing something. Well, now I lost all those. Why aren't you writing? There it is. Okay. Yeah, move to here should be one cell. I don't know, maybe I'm not registering the drag. There it goes. Okay, but yeah, so if I do this and then I move up here and then I move over here, I should only end up 3 cells vertically. And it's showing 2. So I don't know if there is a sort of like a start drag, end drag thing, or well, on change, I guess end drag will leave things ready for a start drag. But if you drag and it's the same distance, like here is 0 minus 2, 0 minus 2, you definitely should debounce that and not move. Okay, so if you've moved, okay, let's record something. Okay, so I think we're going to eliminate directions, but we need to determine how many cells you dragged, you moved, how many cells worth you moved. Okay, we need to move during on change, not just drag change, drag end. Is it drag? On ended, on changed. Okay. On ended, and I think we're going to have to debounce during the drag process. Okay. And I don't think any of those are 2-minute activities. All right. So I think once we have that, then we have the scrolling. It's live. It's what did you call it? The board follows the thing. Yeah, exactly. But you're still in on change until you release your fingers. So if you keep dragging, it's got to kind of update it as you drag. It's at least that's my goal. Yeah, it's got to be done during on change. Maybe we'll do it the first way. We'll do the debounce afterwards because it'll be very visual that it's not working, because we'll try and drag 1 cell's worth and it'll move 3 cells, or it'll move 3 times in one drag, that kind of thing. But that's okay. We'll get there. I think this is on track, and I think this is a step towards, it's a step towards getting rid of directions, and it's also a step towards the tessellation stuff. Oh, you will not move until you raise. No, I think you will, right? Because in here, this offset equals translation. He's moving at that moment, so it's redrawing and doing everything. I think, it may be hard to know, but just changing offset isn't going to change the picture unless he does it. So it should move as they're dragged, is what he says. Okay, stay away rather than. Okay, I think if absolute value of width is greater than 100. Okay, that we may have to do that sort of thing. I feel like we're going to have to kind of turn off the debounce. Like drag on ended is going to have to turn off something and kind of reset things so it starts with the offset it has and that kind of thing. Now we do have an offset notion in our grid. Let's see, grid. No, in content. No. Game. Sorry. Game knows where you've moved the thing, I think. Yeah, the twister was our twister. We may tweak that too. All right. Well, thanks for everything today. It's progress. I like where it's going. I think the colors are an improvement. My initial gray was very, very stark. So we'll figure out what this needs to be, and we'll work on this immediate scrolling tomorrow, and make some. Hopefully that's enough time to do that. All right. Well, see you tomorrow. It's 2 to 4:30 Eastern Time or 6 to 8:30 p.m. UTC, and have a good evening. Thanks again. Bye-bye.